Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to talk about how to enhance your appetite and things you can do to help digestion for off-season for those people who are trying to push the food in the off-season to grow, whether it be strongman, powerlifting, or bodybuilding, or your general weekend warrior. We're going to go over some common foods that people always use in a particular bodybuilding or strength athlete's diet. Alright, so we're going to bring in kind of one thing at a time, start from the bottom and go up. So I'm first going to start with potatoes, alright? Potatoes are a great food, great carbohydrate, great source of potassium, minerals, and such. But they have a very high satiety rating, meaning the small amount will keep your stomach full for a longer period of time. So obviously, if you're trying to push a large amount of calories, carbohydrates, potatoes sometimes can be problematic, especially in larger amounts. Great to diet with because of the nutrient density and it keeps you full for longer, but not the best if you're trying to pack on calories. And of course, you know, eating 15 ounces of cold potatoes when you're on the road or at work just can be quite difficult. So one of the solutions I have is I buy these baby honey gold potatoes. All right, so one of the things you can do is roast them. You can put them in the microwave and cook them, but these have a very unique sweet flavor. They cook a little more evenly. They don't tend to dry out in the fridge, kind of like an Idaho potato. If you kind of bake it and put it in the fridge, it gets very dry. That becomes a problem. But generally for my clients who have a lot of issues with digestion and low appetite, I kind of omit potatoes, and I will bring in, yes, I will bring in these Alexia fries, all right? These are Smart Classic crinkle fries. They're actually very low in fat, 98% fat free. And what I mean by that is for every 20 grams of carbs, there's only 1.5 grams of fat. All right, so obviously as many as you know, fats delay gastric emptying. Too much fat in the diet can delay digestion, slow everything down. We want to speed things up. Not to mention, who can't eat French fries? French fries are very palatable. A little bit of salt, put a little ketchup on them. It's very easy to get 90 grams of carbs down. So this is definitely something, an alternative you can use to potatoes at the end of the night. You want something special at night, go for more oven baked French fries. They're low in fat. These are a great addition, and you can replace the potato. And that way you can look forward to the end of the night having something special when you get home from work from the old repetitive rice. All right, so that's definitely something I would suggest, especially if you have poor appetite, kind of spice things up. I know many people like to be hardcore, I'll just eat cold potatoes, but those are the same people that can't get the same amount of calories in. If you're not enjoying your food, you're not liking it, you're not going to have the appetite and drive to get those calories in and digest. Everybody likes good food. And when you're making kind of like old variations of French fries at home, it's much better digestibility wise than if you're going to get French fries at Five Guys or eating out. Those are loaded with much more calories, fats, and heavier oils, which not necessarily that you want. All right. The other replacement is you want to watch fiber intake. Obviously, the higher fiber you have, you know, that can also make you feel full, make you feel bloated. Fiber draws fluid into the intestinal tract, can make you feel distended. That's why a lot of people go from like a no-carb diet to eating carbs. They instantly feel like they're bloating, and they have a poor appetite because, let's be honest, when your stomach's distended, it's not like you're looking forward to the next meal of eating 2 cups of rice. So Ezekiel bread is a great bread, high in fiber. Many people eat it in contest prep or off-season. It's commonly a staple in a lot of athletes' diets, but it does have a lot of fiber, and it's not made with flour, so it definitely sits heavier in the stomach. One of the alternate replacements I have people replace if they have poor appetite, which is similar in cost, is Canyon Bakehouse bread. Now, Canyon Bakehouse bread is the same amount of calories, but it's rice bread. And I know many people are like, oh, gluten-free bread's disgusting, tastes like cardboard. This one does not. Many people who try to do this end up being like, oh my gosh, it's too good. I end up wanting to eat too many because you know you can get 4 slices of this down in legitimately 1.5 minutes. Very, very good flavor. Great with toast. Great with sandwiches, and very light. Digests very, very quickly, very well. So when a push comes to shove, when you're comparing 60 grams of carbs to Ezekiel bread, 60 grams of carbs from Canyon Bakehouse, you're going to walk away feeling much less full on Canyon Bakehouse. So this is a good alternative to kind of swap carbs out to be able to get those calories in, not feel distended full, and keep the appetite going. All right. The other thing is rice products. All right, many people go with jasmine rice, or they do brown rice, which I don't know why, considering really when you really compare, white rice and brown rice, it's really not all that different. It's not like you're cutting out 5 grams of fiber, maybe a gram or two. Some people like brown rice, and that's fine, but digestibility is a little slower, and it doesn't really carry as much moisture in the long term when you have it in the fridge. So a couple things about rice which is important to understand is, if you're really having a tough time with appetite, and you have a lot of rice in your diet, and obviously, as you guys know, rice products generally do not cause gas. They're non-gas forming intestinal tract, so they're very easy to digest. Is you want to cook rice daily, all right? When you cook rice and it cools, it's in the fridge, it forms resistant starches, so it actually becomes harder to break down in time. That's why day 3 in the fridge with rice, you tend to have more hard rice. It's harder to break down. Your stomach can kind of get bloated, distended, because it's formed resistant starches. Same thing happens with potatoes as well. So I really honestly suggest things that you do if you are into jasmine white rice. And this is my suggestion to go with jasmine white rice if you're trying to keep that appetite high and get the calories in, is invest in a damn rice cooker. I can't believe people don't have a rice cooker. This thing's $30. I've had it for like 6 years. Get the stainless steel one. That way the Teflon chunks don't fall out in your food, because they will. You'll notice that the ones that have the non-stick will flake off within a month. It ends up all in your rice in your stomach, and who knows what it's going to do. But this is a 3-cup one. I got it, I think, at Target for about maybe $25. I know they have it on Amazon. So what you do is, it comes with the rice cooker comes with a scoop. Take the scoop, 1 scoop rice, fill the water to the line inside the bucket, push click, walk away. It turns off on its own when the rice is perfectly cooked and moist. And cook it every day. You wake up in the morning, the night before, put whatever rice you need for that day into the rice cooker. You put a shaker cup on the side, the amount of water you might need. You wake up in the morning, first thing you do, all groggy, put the water in the rice cooker, dip it down, and then start your day. It'll be done cooking and turn off on its own. Then you portion out your rice and your meals that you need for that day, and then you go. That way you have fresh rice cooked daily. And now many of you guys are like, I don't have time. Wake up 10 minutes earlier, dude. It's 10 minutes. And if you're really serious about bodybuilding or making gains, you will make those sacrifices to make that happen. 10 minutes is 10 minutes, and it doesn't even take 10 minutes, especially if you set it up the night before. And if you'll have fresh rice all day, and you'll be able to easier get it down. Just like when you go to a restaurant, when a Japanese restaurant, and they give you sticky rice, it's like, wow, my rice would taste like this all the time. I'd be able to get so much food in. So that's my suggestion for rice. The other suggestion is, many of you guys know I'm a big advocate of better than bouillon, low sodium better than bouillon. So what I end up doing is I'll do like a teaspoon of this per 2 cups of uncooked rice. And what I'll do is I'll put the rice in the little water in there. I'll put it down, and then maybe a couple minutes into it, I'll put the teaspoon and a half, or just a little glob. I don't really measure it that well, just eyeball it. And I put it in there and I stir it up and then shut the lid. And this gives it a much more, chicken-based flavor, and it's got a little sodium in it, and it definitely holds its moisture much better and makes it more clumpy, kind of like the sticky rice you'd see at a restaurant. So this is definitely a must I would say for everybody, because I know every bodybuilder is eating rice. So this is how you do it, and this is how you make it better. Cook it daily, use better than bouillon, get a rice cooker. If you don't have a rice cooker, and you don't use better than bouillon, and you're complaining of appetite, shame on you. It's $25, real easy. You don't need to get a crazy fancy one. Next solution, things you can do to enhance. This is a wonderful product. This is cream of rice, and as many of you know, most people don't like cream of rice. This is the original one you usually get. This is flavorless, doesn't have anything added to it. It's just rice. And obviously cream of rice is very easy to eat. You could eat 90 grams of carbs with cream of rice legitimately probably 45 seconds. Now, if you can eat 90 grams of carbs with 45 seconds of regular cream of rice, you could probably eat this in 30 seconds. But this one's peanut butter. This one's, I got 2 peanut butter, didn't I? Well, they make brown sugar, peanut butter, strawberry, banana, and chocolate brownie. What I like to do is mix the peanut butter and the chocolate brownie together. 45 grams of carbs, 45 grams of carbs. Mix it together, put it in a bowl, let it cool, eat it cold, eat it warm, whatever. And you will have the quickest, fast digesting, flavorful carbs of all time. It only adds 4 grams of sugar per about 40 carbs, which is nothing, so guys don't get bent out of shape. Everybody gets all bent out of shape about a few grams of sugar here and there, but they're willing to eat 15 cups of white rice a day. But this is a great way to increase appetite and get things down. Because obviously, you know, a lot of times food gets very dry. It's hard to eat the chicken. So when you're adding things like cream of rice, especially flavored, you can kind of, you know, have chicken on the side with a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt or whatever you have, and then have your carbs of cream of rice. That's always an option. I have a lot of guys do that too, especially at work. You know, they're at 120 grams of carbs per meal 6 times a day. So 120 grams of carbs of white rice might be a little difficult to eat, not to mention take a while, but they could do cream of rice. And cream of rice goes down super fast and none of them complain. Got a construction guys who do it now, and they just pre-make them into little containers. Actually, the company makes these little containers that you can kind of travel with them. That is definitely a big thing to do. And obviously you replace this with oatmeal. Oatmeal is great for you, high in fiber, but incredibly slow digesting, and the fiber is going to draw water in your intestinal tract, so it's going to make you feel full for longer, which is great for dieting, not necessarily for off-season when you're trying to push the calories to get your body to move through and cycle the food faster. And obviously, as you know, the more fiber intake you have, the more demand and stress in the digestive system. You want your digestive system to kind of operate and flow through food, cycle it fast. So you want to kind of almost not eliminate the fiber, but limit it, because if you're eating, you know, 5,000 plus calories per day of whole foods, you're going to be consuming probably 130 grams of fiber without even realizing it. So rice products are generally a huge way to go. Other things you can do to kind of spice things up and change it, because it's all about taste, acuity, palatability of food, is denser rice cakes. Lundberg is a great company. They make flavored rice cakes, and as you guys know, many flavored rice cakes are only 7 to 8 grams of carbs per cake, which is extremely low calorie. But Lundberg Cinnamon Toast rice cakes are 20 grams of carbs per cake, 3 grams of sugar, not a big deal, 3 grams of sugar. So 3 of these, you got 60 grams of carbs. They're flavorful, they're easy to eat, they add crunch, it's a good change up, they don't expire, they're in your cabinet. Oh crap, I didn't make rice. I'll just grab 3 of these, 4 of these, and then roll out the door. Or grab the whole sleeve, then you can just count them, 20, 40, 60, 80. And that is a great way to add convenience. 1, 2, they don't expire. 3, they digest great, and they taste great. So that's a good, fast digesting carb, easy to eat, easy to buy, and so forth. Now we're going down to, say if you got meals and it's rice and it's chicken and you're like, it's still hard to get down. One of the things I help some of my clients do is bone broth. You take 1 or 2 tablespoons of bone broth, and say if you like shred the chicken to little pieces, mix it with rice or whatever vegetable you have and oil, and you put 1 to 2 tablespoons of this, you know, heat up in the microwave, mix it together. It will be so much more flavorful, because it'll be very kind of like not stew, but very moist and very easy to get down. So that's a huge plus. And, you know, it's kind of like soup in a sense, you know, soup, rice, chicken, a vegetable, a mushroom, or whatever you have, you not. But only 1 or 2 tablespoons, mix it up when it's hot, adds flavor, and it gets it down. Because I know many of you guys are trying to get the food down. It's difficult when it's redundant and you're eating it every day. But guys, you gotta get effort into your food in the off season. I know people are like, I don't have time, and then when people start to prep for a show, everybody's got time to make the most elaborate things ever. But you gotta have the motivation in the off season to make your food taste good. You're not gonna get calories in, you're not gonna be able to grow. So protect that appetite, change things up, eat foods that are easy to digest, that flow through faster, and then hopefully some of these tips you guys can take home and adopt them. Last is easy ways to get fats. All right, so nuts are great, almond butter, peanut butter, everybody loves that. But if you overconsume nut butter, you're gonna be in trouble. All right, too much of any type of nut, especially peanuts, can be problematic in your digestive system. So you don't want to go be eating 2 or 3 tablespoons of peanut butter every meal. Oils are great, incredibly low inflammatory foods. And many of you guys know I'm really into Aristans, which is of infused olive oil. That way you're not adding spices that contain garlic and onion, can cause gas, and that can also rob your appetite. So these are my favorite one, Mediterranean, lemon, lime. I also go through basil and pesto as well. and a tablespoon added to this with white rice, a little bit of salt, goes down well, especially if you're cooking rice daily. So I mean, like in the off season, I actually really enjoy my chicken meals. Even if I'm eating an excess calories, I have lower appetite. It gets down easy and it's very flavorful. Put the effort in. Get the foods that you like, that you taste, and change things up. You can change the flavors all the time, so you're not getting so repetitive with the same thing over and over again. Because as you guys know, when appetite goes down, training usually sucks. And if appetite goes down and training sucks, we know you're probably not sleeping well either, and you're probably losing pumps, and you're probably getting chubby fast, but not really putting on the weight you need. And the other thing is this, avocado mash. Yes, it's one of the FODMAP foods, so it is potentially gas forming for some people. And avocados are expensive, they go bad fast. But this is avocado mash, and these are great. Each one of these is 8 grams of fat, and it's ready to go. There's no garlic in it, there's no onion, it's just salt and pepper, so you're not gonna get any gas or digestive issues. But it's easy to add for flavor. It's convenient, it doesn't expire quickly. I think it's 2 months that it'll expire. Pull this out, rip, 8 grams of fat. Pull it out, rip, 16 grams of fat. There's 16 grams of fat, easy, ready to go. It's not gonna expire like avocado, like you're trying to panic to use it in time. And not to mention, it's already like a paste. So you can spread it on, beat it into your rice, put it on your chicken, and so forth. Good way to add a healthy fat. And I mentioned before, obviously fats slow digestion, but you need some fats in the diet. So you gotta have some sort of balance of fats, carbs, and proteins. You don't wanna go, no zero added fat and just have straight meats. It's gonna be the most inflammatory diet in the face of the earth, not having any essential fatty acids in the diet. So you gotta make sure that's a really good alternative. Fast, quick, flavorful, and most importantly, convenient. Because I know a lot of you guys are all about convenience, and people's biggest reason for not following through the plan is usually, I don't have time, I have no appetite, I don't have time to make good food, and that's why I don't have an appetite. So these are kind of steps that you can do to enhance that and cut time down and enjoy your food, because you should enjoy your food. A lot of people do is they avoid vegetables in the off season. Don't do that. You need vegetables. Food is a synergistic thing. You need to have all the nutrients together to provide it. You can't substitute vegetables with greens powder. You can't substitute vegetables with vitamins and minerals. You just can't. So what I would suggest is spinach. So spinach is a great food, superfood. It's very easy to eat when you cook it my way. So a handful of spinach like this will legitimately wilt down to like this. So in the morning or at night or whenever, you take a large handful in a pan, maybe put a teaspoon of oil or coconut oil, wilt it down, a little bit of salt, and then divide it up into 2 or 3 meals and mix with your rice, and then be perfect. So that's what I would suggest to do for vegetables, is to get that in there, all right? And you don't need to add a lot of vegetables in the off season to save room for the other foods, but just make sure you get some vegetables in. I like to do a few grape tomatoes, a few carrots, and a handful of spinach wilted, and that's my vegetables in the off season. I might reduce the amount of vegetables I have, but I will get them in there, and that's generally how I do it. All right, so hey guys, I hope you guys take some tips from this. One last tip is try not to drink too much fluid with each meal. Too much fluid with each meal dilutes the stomach acid, delays digestion. You want to enhance digestion. So, you can have some fluid with each meal, but the predominant amount of fluid should be 15 minutes prior a meal or 30 minutes after a meal. Hope you guys liked it. If you got any questions, you can comment below.